The Matrix. Now, most people have seen the film or films, right? They're absolutely incredible about the Matrix. But you do live in a matrix. But the matrix that you live in that controls your life is totally different to what you see in that film, how it's projected, right? The matrix that you live in, and this is powerful spiritual knowledge, is a matrix that you create in your life. It is a matrix that traps you. Think of a cage, right? Like a prison cell. And it's got 5 bars on it. And each of those bars on the door that keeps you locked in is self-imposed by yourself. So this matrix is what controls your life. And whilst you're in this matrix, you can never be free. You can never be everything that you want to be because you've locked yourself away. It's like this chicken in a cage. It just accepts the cage because it knows no different. This matrix exists, and I'm going to explain it to you. Okay, so there's 5 bars on that cage. The first bar that keeps you locked in is your worrying about money, your lack of money, having to pay this, having to pay that. And as soon as you start to worry about money, bang, you're locked in the cage. The second one is health. As soon as you start to worry about health and sickness and illness, whether it's now or in the future, that concern you have, that worry, bang, you're locked in. Third one is aging, right? We accept that we're going to age. When we're going to age, we're going to look older. We're going to look less attractive. We're going to become more ill. We're going to have health problems, right? As soon as you start to look at the aging process and you start to be concerned, I'm now in my 40s, middle-age crisis. I'm in my 50s. Things are beginning to go wrong. I'm approaching 60. My health's slipping away. Bang, you're back in the cage. Fourth one, time, right? We worry about time, a lack of time. And then what we do is we rush from here to there, whatever. I don't have time for this. People say, can you help me? I don't have time. Then you think of all the things you've got to do. And it's like, there is no time. Bang, you're in the cage. And the 5th bar is just worrying, right? Because there's so many things in our human lives that we do that involve worrying about people, right? About the world, weather, climate change, wars, safety of our children. Bang, you worry, you're in the cage. So what happens is, as soon as you worry about anything, you have immediately restricted yourself from being free, and you've put yourself in this matrix. You've locked yourself in a cage. The door's never locked, but you've put yourself in there. And so what you have to do is live your life out of the matrix. So think of times when you were like in the shower, okay? And you're totally relaxed. And because you're relaxed, boom, in comes a great idea. And you're like, wow. And there's times when you're sitting down and you're having a coffee and you're totally relaxed. And then boom, another brilliant idea comes in, right? In those moments when you're totally relaxed are moments when you're then out of the matrix. You've escaped. And then what happens is the matrix is here and we're locked in it. As soon as you're out of the matrix, you're still in the physical world, but you're directly connected to the spiritual world. So the spiritual world can then give you the ideas, the solutions, the answers to everything you've been looking for. The people that you want to meet can suddenly come in. But then while you're sitting there all nice and relaxed, and bang, you think about a bill, or you think about some health problems, or a lack of time, or aging, or something else, bang, you're locked away again. So we humans are self-imposed prisoners. We become slaves to the system that we create, the matrix that is created around us. Some people can live outside of that matrix because they worry about nothing, right? You'll see them around you. They've got no cares. You look at children. They run around. Are they bothered about this? Are they bothered about that? No, because at that age, there's very little to worry about. But as we get older, we educate ourselves. This is what I'm saying. We've been programmed and we lock ourselves away in this matrix. And then we spend most of our time worrying about this and worrying about that. Depending on which report you read, we have between 5,000 and 40,000 thoughts a day. The scientists say that 90% of those thoughts are negative ones, ones where we're worrying. And then of all those ones that we're worrying, 80% of those are reoccurring. It's like constantly worrying about the same thing time and time and time again. And I know this is true because that's how I used to live my life. I used to get up and I would worry immediately, bang, am I going to get paid? Am I going to get that work? And it was all about money. The night I just had in bed, most of the time, this sounds awful, and I'm sorry for mentioning it, I would sweat. And I would sweat so much because my mind was still really, really working that I would sweat and I have to get up and change my pajamas. I could wring them out. I did say this was pretty disgusting. And that was all down to where my mind was worrying. I had no control over my mind. And it was only because I changed how I thought when I got up and I took control back over my life that I was able to take myself bit by bit by bit by bit out of the matrix. I still now can be out of the matrix, bang, I'm back in again. But I know the difference between being free and being locked up. And I want you just to take a step back from your life and look at how much time do you spend worrying and how much time do you spend being excited and enjoying yourself and being free, right? It's quite eye-opening when you do that. So there is this matrix that exists. Nobody controls a matrix apart from you and your matrix, and I control my matrix. And you've got to get out of that matrix because otherwise you'll spend your whole life as a slave, as a prisoner, and you'll never be free. And this groundhog loop will be the same as it was previously, but your problems will get worse this time. You'll suffer more. So you've got a choice to make. Ordinary human, or do you become a superhuman?